call this meeting of the Miami Township Board of Trustees to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll, Mr. Cole.
Here.
Mr. Posey.
Here.
Mr. Morris.
Here. Chief Stegelmeyer, could you please proceed with the reading of casualties?
Good evening, Board. The following is the first responder casualty list for the period of February 7th through February the 20th of 2024. Deputy Sheriff Timothy Rivers, the Crawford County Sheriff's Office in Georgia. End of watch February 7, 2024. Deputy Sheriff Christopher Johnson, the Harnett County Sheriff's Office in North Carolina. End of watch February 7th, 2024. Deputy Sheriff Greg McCowan, the Blount County Sheriff's Office in Tennessee. End of watch February the 8th, 2024. Deputy Sheriff Ronald Bates, the Harris County Sheriff's Office in Texas. End of watch February 10th, 2024. Patrol Officer Jonah Hernandez, the Las Cruces Police Department, New Mexico. End of watch February 11th, 2024. Sergeant Nevada Krinke, the Sheridan Police Department, Wyoming. End of watch February 13th, 2024. Deputy Sheriff Robert Leonard of the Meigs County Sheriff's Office in Tennessee. End of watch February 14th, 2024. Police Officer Paul Elmstrand, the Burnsville Police Department in Minnesota. End of watch February 18th, 2024. And Police Officer Matthew Rouge from also the Burnsville Police Department in Minnesota. End of watch February 18th, 2024.
Please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. We have matters listed under the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
You asking for a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Cole.
Aye.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
Aye.
Mr. Schweikart, you have Resolution 1224.
Good evening, Board. So Resolution 12-2024 is a resolution to approve an amended appropriation of funds for 2024 for the purchase of a replacement vehicle. Earlier last year, I came to the Board with a resolution to purchase a vehicle using a lease payment method out of our funds. While we were discussing between the chief and the finance director and I, we found that we could allocate some funds this year and we could save $14,818 of lease interest to do a one-time purchase. This amended appropriation is to bring 2023 money that was allocated in the lease to 2024 for these respected funds and allow us to do a one-time purchase of this facility maintenance vehicle. Again, I'd like to just clarify that this vehicle is 25 years old and has exceeded its expected life as a vehicle in our fleet. So again, I just want to thank the chief, finance director, and Penny Bogner for their help in helping us with this allocation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions for this resolution.
Mr. McCord, I think you have Resolution 13-2024, 14-2024, and 15-2024.
Yes, sir, I do. Resolution 13-2024 is an authorization for salary adjustments for fiscal year 2024, as discussed in the budget hearings and at the recent work study session. I also placed in front of everybody tonight, and I'll enter it into the record, the background information that went into just how we're comparing with the CPI over the last 10 years. We're still lagging, but this year will bring us back a little bit closer. Be happy to answer any questions that may relate to the salary adjustments. Resolution 14 is a request to authorize the engagement of a staffing agency to temporarily fill the administrative assistant position in the administration department. As you may be aware, the current position, the current person in that position has tendered her resignation, and we just want to make sure we've got someone able to answer the phones and greet people when they come into the administration building. The intent is to fill that with a permanent position, but in this will be more of a stopgap. We do have a do not exceeds, I believe, in the language of that as well. And then Resolution 15 is request to approve a then and now purchase order. In the process of paying the bills last year, somehow the annual renewal for the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission got overlooked, and so we have an October invoice, and we need to pay for it in 2024. So since it exceeds $3,000, we need to bring that up for approval in front of the full board. And that's it for what I have tonight. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have on any of those three items.
We've now come to the public comment portion of the meeting. This is the portion of the meeting where residents of Miami Township are invited to share their thoughts with the board. This time's been set aside by the board to listen to you. Your comments are valued and will be taken into careful consideration, but the board will not engage in dialogue at this time. Presentations are limited to 5 minutes each. Is there anyone wishing to make a comment? All right. We'll continue on to the consideration of we'll continue on to consider vote of resolutions and motions. On Resolution 1224, it's a resolution I make a motion to approve resolution to approve an amended appropriation of funds for 2024 for the purchase of a replacement vehicle. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
Aye. I make a resolution, resolution number 13, 2024. I make a resolution to authorize the salary adjustments for non-union employees.
I will second.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
No.
Resolution 14, 2024, resolution to authorize the engagement of a staffing agency to temporarily fill an administrative assistant position in the administration department. I make a motion to approve resolution 14, 2024.
I second.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
Aye.
Resolution 15, 2024, I make a resolution to approve then and now purchase order.
I second.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
Aye.
We have two public hearings on the agenda tonight. First hearing is the public hearing for zoning case number 46223. Was opened initially on January 16, 2024, and continued to this February 20th, 2024 meeting. We will now resume the public hearing. The following will be the order in which this hearing will proceed. Staff will give a report. The applicant may give presentation. All proponents of the case may speak. All opponents of the case may speak. A time limit of 5 minutes will be placed on each of the speakers. Please state your name and address for the record. After all public comments, the board will review and record the findings of fact requirements for this case. The board will close the public hearing and make a final determination on the findings of fact. The board will make a motion on the resolution concerning this case. The board will now hear the report of the staff. Mr. Carlson, have the legal requirements for this hearing been met?
They have.
And would you review your report at this time?
I will. Thank you, Board, and good evening. As Trustee President Culp stated, this case was originally scheduled to be heard on January 16th, 2024. Originally was heard by the Zoning Commission December of 2023. In response to comments and stipulations received from the Zoning Commission, the applicant has been continuously updating their site plan and requests for development standard modifications. They originally requested continuation February 20th to allow for more time and are again doing so, requesting another month of this public hearing. So if the board is amenable to that, staff would recommend continuing the public hearing until March 18th, 2024. Bolded in this case because that's the Monday instead of the Tuesday. So March 18th would be the public hearing. If the board has any questions or concerns, I'd be happy to discuss. All right. Thank you, Board.
So we now close the,
Just make a motion.
okay. Okay. We'll make a motion to continuing this public hearing for zoning case 46223 to March 18th, 2024. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Culp,
Aye.
Mr. Posey,
Aye.
and Mr. Morris.
Aye.
Okay. Second hearing. This is a motion to open public hearing for zoning case number 45222. Is there a second?
I second.
Mr. Culp,
Aye.
Mr. Posey,
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
Aye.
Zoning case number 45222 is, 22 is now open. The following will be the order in which this hearing will proceed. Staff will give a report. Applicant will give presentation. All proponents will speak. All opponents will speak. Time limit will be placed on each of the speakers. Please give your name and address for the record. The board will close the public hearing prior to taking final action. The board will now hear this report of the staff. Mr. Carlson, have the legal requirements for this hearing been met?
They have.
Do you have a recommendation from the Miami Township Zoning Commission? Would you please review your report at this time?
Absolutely. Thank you, Board. Good evening. Zoning case 452-22 is a final development plan for the Austin East plan development, specifically the roadway design within the Austin East plan development. Oftentimes, a roadway design is brought forward at the time a first final development plan for a building is brought forward, but in this case, with the roadway being reviewed by multiple agencies, the Township, ODOT, Montgomery County, it was certainly worthwhile to bring it forward for approval to be sure that everything is in place before the tenants start certainly signing lease agreements with the development team. So this is specifically just for the approval for the interior road layout. Subsequent final development plans will be brought forward for any new structure or use within the development. So again, this group of parcels, this is directly east of Austin Landing, across from Landing Way, is zoned in the SPPUD, Special Purpose Plan Unit Development District. A set of development standards were adopted, generally approving a set of uses and the concept of this roadway. So again, this is bringing forward what is a final design. So again, March of 2022, so this goes back a ways, certainly. There's been a lot of back and forth with Montgomery County and ODOT about the design of this infrastructure. Originally, if you recall, it was a roundabout. Working with ODOT, there's ample stacking distance to convert this to a two-way stop for the northbound and then for the westbound to allow incoming traffic and then allow ample stacking distance for anyone heading to Springboro Pike 741. It certainly minimizes the right-of-way footprint, reduces a lot of costs for this development while serving fundamentally the same purpose. So again, looking only at the roadway layout, the additional pieces that came with that, there were landscaping, planning scheduled to show some right-of-way street trees to improve the design. Additional landscaping would be required by any individual developer, but this has some landscaping along the stormwater basin infrastructure to the north and then along the roadways. Looking specifically at pedestrian connections, this was a major discussion between the township contributed to this conversation, a huge priority of connecting bike path along the 741 corridor. This was another major gap, so bringing that gap, closing it with this development was a major opportunity. A 10-foot wide asphalt bike path is shown connecting from the north-south direction. Highlighted on the right portion and the different color there. There was another conversation item that came up in the zoning commission. I'll get into that a little bit further about whether that should be simply sidewalk or actual bike path. Some of the concern with bike path is that there is a severe grade coming down that hill. So the thought of encouraging bike travel into a busy intersection could be somewhat concerning. So we're having that conversation with Montgomery County. It was a recommendation of the zoning commission to allow staff to work with the county to determine what is best and safest. Generally, staff feels that any improvement there is positive, but exactly what that will look like is to be determined. Again, signage, parking, building elevation, this will all come in subsequent final development plans. As far as the site goes, site grading, proposed stormwater management plan has already been reviewed initially by the county engineer's office. Prior to a zoning certificate, they will issue their final approval, but generally feel that there is ample volume in the area for detention. Lighting plan, the applicant worked with staff to determine best light levels along the what would likely become, again, a public roadway. One comment from the zoning commission was that these light poles match the general design of the other lights within the Austin area and corridor. The applicant has stated that they will do that. But again, lighting levels at the property boundaries are at 0, which was one of our key requirements. And again, for the full zoning commission recommendation, it was a 5-0 vote recommending approval. 1, adjust light pole designs to complement neighboring light pole to create cohesive design. The applicant has stated that they will do this. 2, provide staff the ability to adjust location of trees. This is just one of those smaller items that as sometimes minor shifts happen per comments from out of Montgomery County, so they don't have to come back again in this format and request to move trees. Similarly with number 3, if some minor adjustments are made as final reviews are made to allow staff to work with the applicant to make those changes. And then 4, finally, again, the discussion item of allowing staff to work with Montgomery County and the development team to determine whether sidewalk or bike path is the better choice on that eastern property. But otherwise, these are the stipulations. The zoning commission and staff has no other urgent concerns, but I would be happy to answer any questions that the board has. Thank you, board. Oh, do you have a question?
No, I do not. The board will now hear from the applicant.
George Flynn, Flynn Property Group, 9378 Kemper Grove Lane, Loveland, Ohio, 45140. Appreciate your time tonight and appreciate working with Alex and his staff. And we've worked diligently with my engineer who's here and the Montgomery County folks and the ODOT folks to try to bring a really nice looking development here. And we think we finally got it. And so here to answer any questions that you all might have and comply with whatever staff tells us regarding that bike path that's coming down that hill. My engineer did have a conversation with the Montgomery County engineer, and he's out of town, so he didn't give us a written letter or email or whatever. But prior to him leaving, he didn't think that was a good idea, given the slope grade. But we'll leave it up to staff to work with him and square it up and go from there. So, Thank you.
The board will now hear from all proponents, and the board will now hear from all opponents. I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for zoning case number 45222.
I will second.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve zoning case number 45222.
I'm going to rephrase that a little differently. I'll make a motion, we adopt resolution number 16-2024, a resolution to adopt a final development plan for the Austin East Plan Development under zoning case 452-22 for land zone SPPUD, Special Purpose Planned Unit Development District. Therefore be it resolved, the Miami Township Board of Trustees approves the final development plan for Austin East under zoning case number 45222 and adopts the zoning commission recommendation.
I'll second.
Mr. Culp.
Aye.
Mr. Posey.
Aye.
Mr. Morris.
Aye.
So now we'll go to department head comments. Chief Stegelmeyer.
I have none, thank you.
Worship, real quick, I wanted to take a moment, went to the Ohio Township Association back in early February, had a chance to network with some other townships around the Ohio and discuss operations amongst each other, and also discuss
I didn't have any comments either.
Just two quick comments. Again, want to thank all of our Public Works crews for their work in clearing the roads over this last weekend with the snow that we received. So I'm sure all of our residents and business owners appreciate all the work they did and the late hours they put in for that. So also just wanted to, again, congratulate Detective Sergeant Paul Nienhaus for his recent graduation from the Certified Law Enforcement Executive Program. So I know Chief Stegelmeyer was down there with him for that graduation ceremony. So we appreciate him putting in that extra work to go through that program. So that's it.
Elected officials?
No comment this evening.
I have none.
I have none.
Okay. I would just like to echo the comments regarding the clearing of the streets. I was in Clark County for 3 hours while that snowstorm was hitting. And when we came out of there about 9:30, 10 o'clock, the interstate, both 675 and 70 were a mess. And I was happy to be back on township roads. So I not only anticipated it, but once I got on them, I was in a lot better shape. So I really appreciate the work you guys put in that night. All right, there's no other business in front of us, so I move that we adjourn this meeting at 6:22 p.m.